Hello and welcome to my new channel. So the first series that we are going to introduce onto my YouTube channel is one about my beloved Sunderland. So what we are going to do is we're going to take over Sunderland in the 2016-17 season on Football Manager 2017. We are going to reset the team back to what Sam Allardyce had us set up as prior to him leaving to take the England job, and then we are going to take that team, do whatever we want with it, sign some players, and try to do a better job than what David Moyes did that season. So I have a few objectives for the campaign ahead, which I am going to list. Hopefully they're on the screen now and you can't see me. So the objectives are really that we are going to try and avoid relegation. That's the main one. We want to make sure that we concede less than 50 goals, and we want to make sure we score around 40 goals. Not exactly a high ambition, but this team's not very good, as you'll know if you watch Sunderland that season, because we were terrible. And in terms of other ambitions, I want to reach a cup semi-final. That's the dream on this one. So they're the four targets. Hopefully we hit three of them at least. The cup semi-final one I threw in there to make the League Cup a little more interesting. So, as I said, this is a pilot series. This series will run. I'm going to do the full season at least, and then I'm going to properly launch the channel, all singing, all dancing. After that, once I've ironed out all the bugs and make sure I know what you all want. In terms of my manager, I have went with my alter ego, my Italian alter ego. I am Roberto Maggio. I am an Italian-born manager, born in Rome. I support I'm not sure how I'm going to support Lazio or Roma. I'll probably pick Lazio, but then again, if I pick Lazio, I'm going to be more like Paolo Di Canio, so I'm going to pick Roma. That is my character though for this save, and we will see you at the start of pre-season. So we are here. Roberto Maggio has taken the Sunderland hot seat, a move dubbed as a surprise to many, which I find very offensive because Roberto Maggio had a very illustrious career, won the World Cup with Italy in 2006, yes. So he is the new Sunderland manager. We're going to have a look now at the squad. Let's see what we're working with this season. Team at Sunderland, I have to say, is not the best. Of course, we do have Jordan Pickford, which is a big bonus because he's going to be a big player for us going forward. One thing I would say is that because I've transferred players back, the depth is not great because we would have lost Jan Envia, a player of which we will be looking to sign. But we lost Jan Envia, we've lost DeAndre Yedlin, and we've lost a few other players. So the team is not as strong as I'd hoped. So we're gonna have to address that. The budget has been upgraded to like 33 million. It was at 12, but because we didn't buy Didier and Dong and a few other players, I decided that I would up the budget to what the net spend would have been. We do get to keep Yunus Kabul, which is a big bonus for us. We do also have Jerry Lenz, who's going to be a big player. And of course, we still have Wabi Kazri. We still have Jan Kirchhoff. We still have Sebastian Quates, John O'Shea, Lamin Coney, Seb Larson. Obviously, Jermaine Defoe is still here, though we will have to buy cover. And we, of course, have Fabio Barini. Also in there is Jordi Gomez. Don't think we'll be necessarily playing him too much. But I think overall, the team doesn't look too bad. The Ellis Short, I've already had my banter as well as Short, and he wants us to avoid relegation, which fits nicely into my own ambitions for the season that I went through at the start. And also, he wants us to sign young players and use the club's youth system, which is interesting because Ellis Short very rarely seemed to put an impetus on the youth system. Certainly, buying young players we sometimes did, but we didn't necessarily put an impetus on the youth system. We've worked out a deal here with Ruben Kazan. Seems like a decent enough fee. So now I've got to talk to Jan MV. I have a feeling that he might be a bit of a tricky one to work with. But I don't see him asking for much more than like 60 grand a week. So let's see what happens with that. We start with West Ham United at home, which is a good fixture. Then got Man United away, Bournemouth at home, which I'm already penciling in as a 3 points. Got Liverpool away, Chelsea away, Tottenham at home in September, which is going to be a very hard month. We're looking to pick up a point from that one, but I'm not really too disheartened by the fixture list. At least we've got a couple of winnable games in August. So I'm sure you can all see that Jan Envia has decided to break Sunderland Hearts this time. Last time I think it was Sunderland breaking his hop, but I think this time he wants to break ours. He wants 165 grand a week, which is not going to happen, and he won't lower that. The rest of it is pointless because we can't hit that 165 grand a week target, which means that we're going to have to rethink what we're going to do in the transfer market. Ideally, if Jan can't come in, we'd want to get someone around that price, but I think that's going to be difficult. A player that I've kind of already earmarked is Will Hughes. I know Tom Cleverley's on the transfer list, but do I really want Tom Cleverley? Probably not. So we've got some thinking to do, but I think Will Hughes is probably going to be the target if it's not going to be Jan MVA. Humorously, we have also drawn 1-1 with our under-23s, which is in some ways pleasing that our under-23s have kept up with the first team, but also very, very disappointing because our first team should be beating our under-23s. So that's a bit of a side note there, but pretty disappointing start of pre-season. So the first player we're going to look at signing is Will Hughes, central midfielder. He's attacking, he's young, he'll have good resale value. His price is a little bit scary, but I think we can probably get him for less than 15 million. That's certainly the dream. So I think he's going to be a target for him. Number 2 target is actually a Derby County teammate of his, Cyrus Christie, who comes in at right back. I think at right back we lack quality, really. Billy Jones doesn't really do it for me. Adam Matthews the same. So I think Cyrus Christie's probably a useful addition. And finally, a more controversial signing would be Will Grigg, who is currently at Sunderland. He'd probably be the only player that we have who actually, certainly in the first team, plays for Sunderland. But I look at him and I think Will Grigg, he's got a good goal scoring record. He just came from a good season in League One. It says we can get him pretty cheap. And really, he's just going to act as second stroke third fiddle behind Jermaine Defoe and Fabio Barini and potentially Duncan Watmore. But he'll play League Cup games. I think he's going to be good for us to bring on last 20 minutes in games. He's certainly got a goal threat around him. So I think them 3 players are good targets for us. And it's always hard in the first window to kind of pick pick your signings because the transfer window, a lot of players have moved, so they won't move again. The transfer list isn't very exciting. So them 3 players, while not necessarily world beaters, while not necessarily going to take us up to the next level, they'll add depth, which is something that we need. So I'm pretty happy with them 3 signings if we can pull them off. Ka-ching! First signing made, Will Grigg. Good price from Wigan. I know that most people will think meh, but I think yeah, that's a good signing. He's a good player. Second signing completed, and that is Will Hughes. This one's an expensive one, be the biggest one we'll do this summer. 15 million up front. I think it's rising to 16.5. So 2 good signings. I think Will Hughes will certainly add an extra dimension to a team. So I'm happy with both of them. Diego Poye is a player that came up as a free transfer, and he'll certainly be good depth for our midfield, especially if we can get rid of the likes of Jack Rodwell. So Diego Poye has been brought in on a free transfer, probably just being another 23 signing, but I still think it's a decent move for us, and he's got good potential. Cyrus Christie has signed on the dotted line, £9 million up front. It's a hefty transfer fee, but I think it's probably a fee worth paying. It brings our expenditure up to 26 million for the summer and probably just about rounds off the business. Let me know in the comments below if you think that these were good signings, if I've just wasted money. I think personally that they're decent signings, but I do think that maybe a more experienced player, and certainly if I was playing in 2017, I'd probably have a better idea of what was around. But overall, I'm happy with the business, but I'd be curious to see what you think. Trimming the fat, I think, is important. I don't actually think we have a very big squad. We don't have much quality in the squad, but there is some players that I think probably could do with a new move. So Jack Rodwell's going to be one that I'm instantly going to get rid of as quick as I can. There's a few other players who could potentially leave. Jerry Lenz is one of them. I think we've also got Jody Gomez, Sebastian Coates, potentially Will Buckley, Liam Bridcut, Charis Mavrias. There's a few players that I think we're going to look at getting rid of this summer, and then that could maybe mean we can buy another player, but I don't really hold much hope that we're going to get rid of these players for any decent fees. And I have looked at Sebastian Coates being worth 20 million, but I'll be shocked, flabbergasted if we can get that sort of money for him. So I've had an offer, well, many offers in for Sebastian Coates, but to be honest, looking at the squad depth, I don't think we can afford to get rid of him for that price because he's actually our best centre back, which I didn't realise. So Sebastian Coates will leave, but in better news, Jack Rodwell's had an offer from Sheffield Wednesday, which I think we're probably going to accept. He's not a player that I particularly want to play this season, but potentially if he's playing every game, and we get 50% of his wage back. So I think selling him is going to be a pretty solid move. Also, we've sold Will Buckley for 825 grand, so yeah, it's a nice little bit of cash through the door. So pre-season is now over and done. So skip through that because there wasn't much else happening. You don't really want to watch pre-season matches. So we drew 1-1 with the under 23s, which is poor. We drew 1-1 with a team I've never heard of. Beat Latina 2-1 away from home. Drew with Mainz at home 1-1. Got beat off Celtic away 1-0. Drew at home against Boavista and beat AC Milan at home 3-2. So it's not been a bad pre-season, and it's all about game time anyway. So I'm reasonably happy for that, and I'm just looking forward to the start of the season. Press conference here, it's just the standard stuff. Which team do you think is going to get relegated? And all that, some stupid questions here from some stupid journalists. But it's getting nicely prepared for the opening day of the season against West Ham. I'm looking forward to it. I don't hold much ambition for the season beyond staying up, but my God, we're gonna give it a good try, and we'll talk a little bit about tactics as well and how we're gonna approach the game. The approach we're gonna take for the opening day of the season is going to be a 4-3-3. I want to be defensively solid, so we're defensive, we're structured, and I think we've got to hit them with pace down the wing. So Cyrus Christian at right back, left back Patrick Van Aanholt, obviously Jordan Pickford in net, centre back Sebastian Quetters, Yunus Kabul, breaking up the Kabul-Kone partnership, but I think that's going to work a little bit better. Jan Kirchhoff as being the anchor man, brilliant at that position, love it. We've got Seb Larson and Jody Gomez in midfield, mainly because our midfield options are dire other than that. On the wing, Duncan Watmore, probably a surprise start, but again, the injuries we've got, Catamol, Hughes, Kazri and Lenz means that our wing options and certain midfield options are weak. And Jermaine Defoe starts up front. There isn't really much on the bench to write home about, which is disappointing, but I think we've got a half decent chance, but I would probably say we're outside. We've got an outside chance today, so it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be an uphill battle, but I'm sort of looking forward to the game. I'm looking at West Ham's team, and of course, it's reasonably strong. Andre Ayew lined up in central midfield for some reason, but Mark Noble, Dimitri Payet, Lanzini, Faguli, Simeon Zaza, who I forgot existed. Defensively, they're solid as well. So I think it's going to be a hard game today, but I've got reasonable expectations that we can get a positive result. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm some sort of tactician, because when it comes to opposition instructions, I just let the assistant do it. My first pre-match team talk, I'm going with an Italian vibe. I'm sticking calm. It's all about the fans, getting that Italian passion out there. So I'm looking forward to the start of the game, and we're off here at the Stadium Light, first game of the season. So I'm excited to see whether or not we can get a positive result. So it looks like the first chance of the game is going to go West Ham here. Payet has it just before 20 minutes. Oh, but Jan Kirchhoff wins it nicely, and the ball goes to Defoe, and I think this is going to be the tactic all season. Win the ball, pass it to Defoe, and Defoe, takes it past one, and ping. It's okay, Defoe. We can work on that. 20 minutes in, first chance comes to us. So we're pretty much at half time, 0-0, not much happening, not much in the way of shots. We've had 4, none on target, not ideals. I think the approach is going to be calm. Still got a chance of winning today. Maybe tell Jermaine that he could pretty much be the match winner. Also give a bit of passion to Duncan. Overall though, not the best first half. Maybe go a little bit attacking in the second half, and we'll see how it goes. I have to say that this game has been a snore fest. Insert Homer Simpson.
Boring.
And it looks like we're gonna head towards a 0-0 draw, which is pretty much what we have. So 0-0 opening day of the season. I'm not necessarily disappointed with that. I think in reality West Ham are better than us on paper, and the opening day not conceding was important. I did worry that maybe we would take a little bit of a defeat today because the injuries we've got. So I think 0-0 is a good result, but we also have Manchester United coming up, and I don't think that. Well, the positive is that we didn't concede, which means that surely against Manchester United we can at least give a little bit of defensive resistance against them. But we know the players that they've got. You know, Ibrahimovic is here at this point. Wayne Rooney. I mean, we've got Pogba as well. I mean, they're a very, very, very strong outfit. But if we can go there and hold a good account, I'd be happy to sort of give them some resistance and not let it be easy for them. But overall, it's an opening day, goes 0-0. It's not a bad result in comparison to what David Moyes did. He actually drew 2-2 with West Ham, so We're no better or worse off compared to our old friend David Moyes. Okay, so match day number 2, Manchester United at home. And looking forward to this one. It'll be a good test. Friday night game, which is nice under the lights. We're going to go pretty much, in fact, completely unchanged from last week because we don't have any injured players back. Well, we'll have a look at the Manchester United team, but it's a scary one compared to ours. So Manchester United lineup: Zlatan up front, Wayne Rooney just behind them, Martial, Paul Pogba's playing. It's Rashford. It's a strong looking Manchester United team, and it certainly puts a little bit of fear into me, considering you look at our side. But the opposition instructions will be in the trusty hands of our good friend Paul Bracewell. Team talk, a bit of a debate here whether or not to go calm or passionate. But I feel like instilling a little bit of calmness, would work. I also think wishing good luck and saying they'll need it is a stupid idea, so we'll definitely not be doing that tonight. But it should be a good game at Old Trafford, and I'm optimistic that maybe we can keep the score down, maybe even nick a point would be nice. Wayne Rooney lifts a free kick. Ibrahimovic heads it. Eric Bailly. 1-0 to Manchester United. Start. Free kick here. Will Pogba get booked? Of course he won't, because it's Manchester United. Oh wait. Will Sebastian Quatters get booked? Of course he does, because it's at Manchester United. So 1-0 down. It's a disappointing start of the game, and Man United's got a corner. Wayne Rooney crosses in. It's headed out. And Herrera to Rooney. Oh, I can see where this is going. Cross in. Paul Pogba makes it 2-0. So it's a disappointing start. 2-0 down within 20 minutes. Oh, poor defending. Paul Pogba, one of the best headers in the Premier League, just left totally unmarked, pretty much inside the 6-yard area. Nothing Pickers can do. So 2-0 down. And Sebastian Quatters has conceded a foul, which suggests that Sebastian Quatters might be getting sent off, which is not ideal. Yes.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Okay, so Sebastian Quatters has been sent off. That means we need to do a tactical reshuffle, but luckily Jan Kirchhoff can slot in. We'll just go very defensive. This game's gone now, and Wayne Rooney or Ibrahimovic will be standing over this free kick. It's Wayne Rooney. So I'm not particularly ambitious for this one. Rooney. Yeah. Manchester United 3, Sunderland 0. We're not even at 25 minutes. So United are 3-0 up just before half time. Rooney has the ball. Rooney plays it to Martial. Oh. Manchester United are 4-0 up before half time. I mean, this is essentially the worst nightmare you could ever have if you're at Old Trafford. You're 4-0 down. You're down to 10 men. United's front 4 are banging the goals in. Pogba, Ibrahimovic, Martial and Rooney. It's just not good. We're going in at half time. You got to be angry. I'm angry at Sebastian, so he's going to get an EFL, an Italian EFL. Ultimately 4-0 down. It's just not. it's not really what we came for. It's probably time where we all had the tactics a little bit and went a bit more defensive, because we can't afford to lose like 8-0, especially if one of the targets is to concede less than 50 goals. So 4-0 down at half time. I feel disillusioned, to be honest. The performance against West Ham wasn't great, and to be honest, the performance this afternoon has been utterly abysmal. Well, I mean, at least we didn't concede in the second half. That can be the only positive I can take from this. I'm still angry at the players, but the change of tactic meant that little happened in the second half. It was a poor defeat. But 4-0, opening start of the season, we've drawn 0-0, got beat 4-0. So we haven't scored a goal yet, which means you haven't seen my wonderful goal gif, which is a shame. But ultimately, I think for a first couple of games, it's not ideal. But looking ahead, we've got that cup game against Port Vale, and we have Bournemouth. I think I'm going to cover them too in the next video. That should be 2 wins. To be honest, nothing less than 2 wins will really do. So it'll be an interesting one, and obviously deadline day coming up as well. It'll be interesting to see if we can get any business done. But ultimately, I think in terms of a start, considering the rubbishness of the squad, I'm happy that we did manage to keep a clean sheet in the first game. I am worried about the goals, but I do think Jermaine Defoe will at least get 10 goals this season, and hopefully we'll pick up some points. I think we're going to be a very nitty gritty team, if I'm going to be honest. I'd be surprised if we ever really score more than a couple in every single game. So that's that. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, subscribe. If you've got any criticisms or constructive criticisms, put them in the comments below. That's fine by me. That's the only way you learn. So thanks for sticking with me today, and I appreciate your time watching this video, and hopefully you'll stick with us through this journey to try and make sure that Sunderland don't turn into what they are today, which is a floundering club sat in League One who are probably sixth favourites to get promoted. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.